Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Velocity channel, where this is your bridge to financial freedom. Today we're going to be diving into the game-changing strategy that can help you pay off your loans 3 times faster using credit. That's right, you heard me correctly. But before we jump in, like, share, and subscribe so that everyone around the world can know the power of Velocity Banking. Are you ready? Let's do this. All right. So first of all, the first thing you have to understand is Velocity Banking itself. Okay. This is a picture of the traditional loan repayment plan. All right. Some of us have loans that are bigger, some are smaller, but it all goes according to this plan, and that is the bank's plan. We're not going to do that anymore. Instead, let's flip the script on this boring cash flow sucking plan. Instead of letting this interest accumulate, let's use our line of credit to strategically pay down this principal much faster. Let's shorten the term that we have to be in this loan. Let's do it. Now, you might be wondering, how does credit come into play? Well, by using a line of credit, like a credit card, a HELOC, or whatever it is that you have, you can have lump sum payments going towards the principal, as in the case right here. So let's go ahead and look through here. We're going to go ahead and, let's say, use a $10,000 line of credit, and we're going to hammer out this principal. Remember, $30,000 minus $10,000 is going to be $20,000. Now remember, this $10,000 is going to be allocated for that first month, let's say, or whenever you choose to deploy that $10,000 line of credit. It's going to be going towards the principal. So you're going to be adding on top of the principal payment already that $10,000, which is going to equal $10,358, all right? Now, of course, the bank has to get its portion for the first month, but I want you to check out what happens in the next month. This is where Velocity Banking comes into play. $401 goes towards the principal, right? Because remember, our loan is $483 per month. It's a $30,000 loan at 5%. It's going to take us 6 years according to the bank. However, when we flip the script, we make sure that we are deploying, okay, from our deployment account, $10,000 to that principal. What happens? $401 goes towards the principal, and $82 goes towards interest. Now, did you see what I see? Do you see the significant reduction towards the bank? That's what we want, because when we are significantly reducing how much we owe the bank, where does that money go? Into our principal, okay? Making sure that that principal balance is paid off. So then the next month, you're not going to be deploying the $10,000, because remember, the $10,000 needs time to replenish. And so what we're doing is we're counting $402 the next month is going towards the principal. It's incrementally going up, but I want to direct your attention to the significant decrease in interest, because that interest has transferred towards us, that principal, to pay this off so that we can capture the $483. Do you see how that's flowing now? All right, let's continue. So let's go ahead and give you a step-by-step guide to implementing Velocity Banking for yourself. All right, so the number one, you're going to assess your finances, which means calculate your monthly income and expenses to determine how much you can allocate towards debt repayment. Remember, that's what we did with the $10,000. We made sure that you can afford it. Let's go ahead and give you an example of that. Let's say you had an income coming in of $5,000, okay, let's say, and then your expenses, because you've assessed it, right, is all $3,000. So let's go ahead and do that. Well, you have $2,000 in cash flow, which is represented by the C. And so what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we are utilizing these finances correctly, however you want to do it. However, if you choose To use your line of credit as your new checking account, you can simply divide the balance of $10,000 by the $2,000 because that is, right, how much is the cash flow. And that's going to be 5. So the 10,000 divided by 2,000 is 5 months. That's how much you have before you can replenish. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and get into that. But assess those finances. Make sure you have some positive cash flow, and then do accordingly. So next, what you're going to do is you're going to open up a line of credit. So choose a credit line with favorable terms and low interest rates. So that's number 2. We have a good favorable term here with the 10,000. Even if you don't have favorable terms, let's see what your money says, and then let's go with that. The next step is going to be making lump sum payments. Now, you use the line of credit to make those significant payments towards your loan principal. And remember, it's because you have those favorable terms on your line of credit. Now, look, even if you don't remember, your loan is calculated differently. So you want to make sure how much in the line of credit is going towards the principal and how much is going towards the interest, recognizing that these loans are amortized and you're still going to pay the $483 per month, and that's money that's going away from you. Actually, that's money that's going away from you on the loan, but in the line of credit side, that's money that you can use, right? So on the line of credit side, you can pay, borrow, which separates it from other bills. And then number 4, you're going to replenish the line of credit. So use that income to pay off the credit line balance, then repeat the process. Now, there may be some people that want to use the credit card, and there are some companies that don't accept credit cards. That's okay. Make sure that you are assessing your finances so that you could use your credit card to that advantage, maximizing your credit card so that you get the cash flow from paying this off, the cash flow from capturing that interest as soon as possible. Now remember, if you have multiple loans, you're going to go through something called the cash flow indicator. You want to make sure that you're using this formula if you have multiple loans, okay? So let's do this line balance or loan balance divided by the minimum monthly payment. That's going to be your cash flow indicator. It's going to show you which loans are the most cash flow sucking. The closer you are to 0, okay, because the line, do you remember that? The closer you are to 0, the least efficient that loan is. So we want to make sure that we are getting rid of those inefficient loans and that we are stacking up on efficient loans where we don't have to pay them back as fast as we do the least efficient ones. Least efficient loans, that's included in the car loans. They're least efficient many times. Sometimes personal loans, and definitely payday loans, right? Title loans. There's no judgment here, not being critical. Just want you to pay those off before they do you in, all right? I remember there was this commercial that said, get out of those ARMs, those adjustable rate mortgages, before they bury you. And this was back in 2005, 2006. He would always come on the radio, and it was almost like an omen because that's exactly what happened to some people. Those ARMs buried them. So please don't get buried in interest. Don't be afraid of interest either. Just remember to assess those finances. So make sure that you have the appropriate cash flow. And listen, even if you have negative cash flow, when you pay those minimum monthly balances, right, those minimum monthly payments before the grace period ends, right, and that's usually around 21 to 25 days, are you able to use that money again? Yes, you are. So please look out for that. Know that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and it's not a train, all right? So I'm going to go ahead and get out of the way. I want you to make sure that you copy this down. Remember, this method of the traditional loans, traditional banking, it's gone. This is the 21st century. People are making sure that the principal is paid down. They are no longer being subject to the rulers, right, that want to eat off of them. We want to make sure that we are doing things that make sense, Does it make sense to you, especially if the $10,000 is at maybe 5% or even 17%? Remember how much of that is going towards interest, all right, versus this traditional loan repayment schedule here, all right? We want to make sure that you are aware of that. And if you have any questions, just let me know. We have a webinar coming up this Tuesday. If you missed it this Tuesday, you missed it, let me tell you, all right? We were letting people know how to get out of the typewriter age and into the computer age with our software called the Money Max account. It's amazing. I want you to go ahead and join us on that webinar that's coming up this Tuesday, all right? Folks, if you have any questions, don't hesitate. Let's go ahead and give me a buzz. We have the websites there as well as our email list, and we're here for you when you need us. God bless you, and we'll see you in the next video. So after it's all said and done, I made a claim to you. And that was, you can pay it off. Loans like this, other loans, 3 times faster with your line of credit than you would a traditional. So let's just go ahead and demonstrate that to you, all right? If we continue on paying like the traditional banking method would have us to, this is how much in interest you would pay. $4,700 plus. Now look, that's not bad because we got a good interest rate, all right? That's not bad at all. But if we were to pay the Velocity Banking way, to take the lump sum of 10 grand and eradicate the principal balance, and of course we have to replenish the 10 grand every 5 months. If we kept doing that, how much interest do you think that we would spend? $680 in interest, all right? And oh, by the way, remember the bank wants you to be completed with this loan in 6 years. So you still got 6 years to go, all right? Where on the Velocity Banking side, you're paid off in about 1 year. So what is that, 1 year? 6 divided by 1 is 6. I would say that's actually more than 3 times, right? That's like at least 6 times more. And so, folks, don't leave your credit card stagnant. Don't leave the money that's on your line of credit stagnant. Remember, you were given that money to be a good steward. All of you unsecured line of credit holders out there, all right? So be a good steward of it. Make sure that you are capturing the cash flow that is rightfully yours so you can put it towards something that you know you can build. Because really, the goal is not to simply amass money. It's to have the assets pay for your bills. That's where it's at. And that's Velocity Banking.